Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're discussing something that affects millions of families worldwide, yet often goes unnoticed until its damage is already done. We're talking about the power of words, specifically the phrases parents say that can deeply impact a child's emotional and psychological development. As parents, caregivers, or anyone involved in raising children, we all want what's best for them. But sometimes, in moments of stress, frustration, or exhaustion, words slip out that we don't truly mean. The problem is children don't always understand context the way adults do. They internalize what we say, and these words become the foundation of how they see themselves and the world around them. In this video, we'll explore 10 types of harmful statements that parents should avoid. This isn't about shaming anyone. Parenting is incredibly difficult, and we all make mistakes. Instead, this is about awareness and growth. By understanding how certain phrases affect children, we can make conscious choices to communicate more effectively and lovingly. So let's dive into these 10 critical areas, understand why they're harmful, and explore healthier alternatives. Point 1. Offensive words towards their appearance. Let's start with something that might seem harmless to adults but can be devastating to a child. Critical comments about their appearance. Phrases like, "You're getting fat," "You're so skinny," "Your nose is too big," or "Why can't you be prettier?" might seem like observations, but to a child, they become defining labels. Children are developing their self-image, and parental voices carry enormous weight in this process. When parents criticize a child's appearance, it teaches them that their value is tied to how they look. This can lead to lifelong body image issues, eating disorders, and severely damaged self-esteem. Children learn to scrutinize themselves through the same critical lens their parents used. What's particularly damaging is that children cannot change most aspects of their appearance, especially genetic features. Criticizing something they can't control creates helplessness and shame. Instead, focus on qualities beyond appearance. Praise their kindness, creativity, resilience, or sense of humor. Teach them that their worth comes from who they are as a person, not how they look. If health is a genuine concern, address it with compassion and support, never mockery or shame. Remember, your words become their inner voice. Point 2. Provocative questions towards actions. The second harmful pattern involves provocative or rhetorical questions aimed at a child's behavior. Phrases like, "What's wrong with you?" "Why can't you do anything right?" "Are you stupid?" or "Why are you so lazy?" These aren't real questions seeking answers, they're disguised attacks. Children often take them literally and internalize them as truth. A child repeatedly asked, "What's wrong with you?" will eventually conclude that something fundamentally is wrong with them. These questions don't guide children towards better behavior, they shame them. Shame is one of the most destructive emotions, leading to withdrawal, rebellion, or a persistent sense of inadequacy. Children are still learning. They make mistakes because they're developing judgment, impulse control, and emotional regulation. When we respond to their mistakes with provocative questions, we attack their identity rather than addressing the specific behavior. A healthier approach is to address the behavior directly and constructively. "I noticed you didn't finish your homework. Let's talk about what got in the way and how we can help you complete it." This approach treats the child with respect, acknowledges the specific issue, and works towards solutions rather than attacking their character. Point 3. Selfish wishes. Point 3 addresses what we call selfish wishes, statements where parents express regret about having children or project their unfulfilled dreams onto them. This includes phrases like, "I wish I never had kids," "My life would be so much better without you," "You ruined my life," or on the flip side, "You need to become a doctor like I wanted to be." The first type directly tells children they're unwanted. No matter the context, children cannot process this as momentary frustration. They hear it as fundamental rejection. This creates deep abandonment fears and a pervasive sense of being a mistake. The second type treats children as extensions of the parent rather than individuals. When parents push their own unfulfilled ambitions onto children, they deny their child's autonomy and unique identity. This creates enormous pressure and often leads to rebellion or people-pleasing behaviors that last well into adulthood. Children didn't ask to be born. That was the parents' choice. They deserve to be seen as the blessings they are, not as obstacles or second chances. Point 4. Making the child feel like a burden. Closely related to selfish wishes is making children feel like burdens through statements like, "Do you know how much I sacrifice for you? Everything I do is for you, and this is how you repay me?" Or, "You're so expensive to raise." While parents do make sacrifices, constantly reminding children of this creates an unhealthy debt mentality. Children begin to feel guilty for their basic needs, for eating, for needing clothes, for existing. This guilt can manifest in various ways. Some children become overly compliant, suppressing their own needs to avoid being more trouble. Others may develop anxiety around asking for anything, even necessities. Many carry this guilt into adulthood, struggling with feeling worthy of care and resources. Parenting does involve sacrifice, but that's part of the commitment we make when we choose to have children. These sacrifices shouldn't be held over children's heads as debts to be repaid. Instead, frame family life as teamwork. We're a family, and we all contribute in different ways, is much healthier than keeping a running tally of sacrifices. Acknowledge when things are financially tight without making it the child's fault. Children can learn gratitude without being burdened with guilt. Point 5. Unhealthy comparisons. Point 5 addresses one of the most common harmful patterns, unhealthy comparisons. Why can't you be more like your sister? Your friend gets straight A's. What's your excuse? I wish you were as well behaved as that child. Comparisons are incredibly damaging because they send the message that the child, as they are, isn't enough. Every child is unique, with different strengths, challenges, learning styles, and timelines for development. When parents constantly compare children to siblings, peers, or even to the parent's childhood self, it creates resentment, jealousy, and damaged self-worth. Children being compared to siblings often develop rivalry rather than healthy relationships with each other. Those compared to peers may struggle with friendships, seeing others as competition rather than companions. Comparisons also ignore each child's individual circumstances, abilities, and challenges. What comes easily to one child might be genuinely difficult for another, and that's okay. Instead of comparisons, focus on individual progress. "You've really improved in math this semester" is so much more encouraging than "your sister never struggled with math like you do." Celebrate each child's unique strengths and support their specific challenges. Help them become the best version of themselves, not a copy of someone else. Point 6 is verbally abusive statements. Point 6 is perhaps the most obviously harmful, verbally abusive statements. This includes name-calling, insults, and degrading language. "You're worthless," "You're a disappointment," "I hate you," "You're a failure," or any profanity directed at the child. Verbal abuse is just that, abuse. It's not discipline, it's not tough love, it's harmful, and can be as damaging as physical abuse. Studies show that children who experience verbal abuse have similar brain changes to those who experience physical abuse. These statements directly attack a child's sense of self. When a parent, the person who should be their greatest protector and supporter, calls them names or degrades them, children believe it. These words become core beliefs that shape their entire lives. Verbal abuse creates trauma, anxiety, depression, and relationship difficulties. Children who are verbally abused often develop harsh inner critics that torture them long after they've left their childhood homes. There is never a justification for verbal abuse. If you find yourself using these kinds of statements, it's crucial to seek support, therapy, parenting classes, or anger management.
Children deserve respect. Even when correcting behavior, we can do so firmly without resorting to insults or degradation. Point 7. Threatening abandonment. Point 7 involves threatening abandonment, either directly or indirectly. Statements like, "I'm going to leave you here if you don't behave," or "keep acting like that and I'll give you away," or even "I'm leaving" during arguments between parents. For children, especially young ones, abandonment is a primal fear. They depend entirely on their parents for survival, so threats of abandonment trigger deep terror. Even when parents don't mean these threats literally, children don't understand that. They take it seriously, which creates anxiety and attachment issues. Children may become clingy, constantly seeking reassurance, or develop a fear of being alone. Repeated abandonment threats can lead to abandonment issues in adulthood, affecting romantic relationships, friendships, and even career decisions. Instead of threats, use natural consequences and remain present during discipline. "That behavior isn't acceptable, so we're leaving the store now," is different from "I'm leaving you here." The first addresses behavior while maintaining security. The second weaponizes a child's worst fear.
Point 8. Empty promises. Point 8 addresses empty promises, when parents consistently promise things they don't deliver. "I'll take you to the park this weekend. I promise I'll come to your game. Next time we'll do something special," and then repeatedly fail to follow through. Children need to trust their parents' words. When parents make promises they don't keep, it teaches children that words are meaningless and people can't be trusted. This erodes the parent-child bond and creates skepticism that extends to other relationships. Repeated broken promises tell children they're not priorities, that other things matter more. This damages their sense of worth and importance. Sometimes, circumstances genuinely prevent us from keeping promises, and that's understandable. The key is how we handle it, with honest communication, sincere apologies, and rescheduling rather than just moving on as if the promise was never made. Better yet, be careful about what you promise. Instead of promising, try, "I'll do my best to make it," or "Let's plan for it and I'll let you know if anything changes." Teach children that your word means something. Point 9. Withholding love and affection. Point 9 involves withholding love and affection as punishment, the silent treatment, refusing hugs, saying "I don't love you" when you act like this, or withdrawing emotionally when a child misbehaves. Children need to know that parental love is unconditional, that while specific behaviors might be unacceptable, they themselves are always loved. When love is withdrawn as punishment, it becomes conditional, teaching children they must earn love through good behavior. This creates anxious attachment patterns. Children become hypervigilant about maintaining approval, suppressing authentic feelings and needs to avoid losing love. Or they may become convinced they're unlovable, leading to self-destructive patterns. Love and discipline are separate. You can disapprove of behavior while still expressing love for the child. "I love you, but that behavior isn't acceptable," maintains the emotional connection while addressing the issue. Even during discipline, physical affection and emotional connection can be maintained. After consequences are implemented and discussions are had, reassure your child of your unwavering love. Children should never question whether they're loved. That should be the one constant they can always count on, regardless of behavior, achievements, or circumstances. Point 10. Failing to encourage self-belief. This includes dismissing dreams like, "That's unrealistic, you'll never make money doing that," or discouraging attempts, "Don't bother trying, you'll just fail," or never expressing confidence in the child's abilities. Children develop self-belief largely through their parents' eyes. When parents express doubt or dismiss their capabilities, children internalize that doubt. They stop trying, stop dreaming, and settle for less than their potential.
This doesn't mean praising everything indiscriminately or encouraging genuinely dangerous pursuits. It means supporting your child's interests, expressing confidence in their ability to learn and grow, and helping them develop resilience when they face setbacks. Instead of "you'll never be a professional athlete," try "that's a challenging goal. Let's see what steps you can take towards it and what you learn along the way." This acknowledges reality while supporting their dreams and growth. Encourage calculated risks. Celebrate effort, not just outcomes. When children fail, help them see it as learning, not as confirmation they're incapable. Your belief in your child helps them develop belief in themselves, and that self-belief will serve them throughout their entire lives.
Conclusion. We've covered 10 types of harmful statements that parents should avoid. Offensive words about appearance, provocative questions about actions, selfish wishes, making children feel like burdens, unhealthy comparisons, verbally abusive statements, threatening abandonment, empty promises, withholding love and affection, and failing to encourage self-belief. If you've recognized yourself in any of these patterns, please don't spiral into guilt. Awareness is the first step toward change. We've all said things we regret. What matters is what we do moving forward. If you've used these phrases, consider apologizing to your child. It's never too late. "I shouldn't have said that. It wasn't true, and I'm sorry," can be incredibly healing. It also models accountability and emotional maturity. Changing communication patterns takes conscious effort. When you feel frustrated and old phrases rising up, pause, take a breath, ask yourself, what am I really trying to communicate? How can I say this in a way that addresses the issue without attacking my child? Consider seeking support if you're struggling. Parenting classes, therapy, or parenting books can provide valuable tools and strategies. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. It's creating a home where children feel safe, valued, and loved unconditionally, where they can make mistakes and still know they're cherished, where they develop into confident, emotionally healthy adults. Your words have power. Use that power to build up, not tear down. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. What communication strategies have worked in your family? Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.